is close. Girl Taken starts Wednesday, 25 March at 9 p.m.
A single crop has dominated agriculture along the KZN North Coast for decades, shaping whole towns and the communities that live in them. Since the late 1800s, sugar has grown to support hundreds of thousands of livelihoods in the region, dominating its industry and agricultural sector.
But that industry is now on the brink of collapse, putting years of community and a way of life at risk. Claire has this report from KZN.
Our story begins with my forefather, Babu Bodha Singh. He was born in Agra, northern India. And as we all know, the Indians arrived in South Africa in 1860. He boarded a ship on the 1st of August, 1874. It was a month-long journey from Calcutta down to what was then Port Natal. And he arrived in South Africa on the 1st of September, 1874. He served his indentureship, which was 5 years, for the Glasgow and Natal Sugar Company, where he was elevated to working at the sugar mill.
Sugarcane was introduced in South Africa during British colonial rule in the 1800s. Thousands of workers were brought from India under indentureship, paid labor often likened to slavery. Conditions were harsh, with contracts binding workers to plantations for 5 to 7 years. But after his contract finished, Keval Bodha Singh's great-great-grandfather chose to stay.
You were given the option of a return passage back to India, or you could exchange that for a monetary value. And he was able to use these proceeds to purchase 6 acres of land. And by 1910, he had purchased this farm, which is known as Hyde Park. He passed away in 1919. At that time, he had owned 8,000 acres of land.
Wow.
And he became the largest landowner out of any of the indentured laborers at the time.
Was it always a desire as well for you to continue the legacy that is so rich?
It was ingrained in me from birth that I would one day continue the farming legacy that we have. Mm-hmm. And so I kind of knew that this was my destiny no matter what happened.
Vast stretches of sugarcane dominate the KwaZulu-Natal coast. It's been the life force of the economy here for over a century. At the epicenter of what's known as the Sugar Belt is the historic town of Tongaat. It's the site of the Maidstone Mill, where the country's first cane was processed in 1903. It was a vibrant and promising time. Companies like Tongaat Hulett gave farmers security, building an entire economy around the crop.
One has to look at the cane growers and the millers and how they are intertwined. Neither can exist without each other. And the growers require milling capacity in order to sustain their businesses. This map is over 100 years old.
The business model remained largely unchanged. Cane is still cut by hand, and generational growers like the Bodha Singhs have generally delivered to the same mills.
The N2 didn't exist. It's currently in this alignment here.
If sugarcane is harvested, it has to be processed within 48 to 72 hours. Otherwise, it deteriorates. And the farmers get penalized for sending poor quality cane to the sugar mill.
Dr. Thomas Funke heads the Sugarcane Growers Association, the voice of the industry since 1927.
Sugarcane is a high bulk, low weight product. So in other words, a sugar truck cannot drive a far distance with sugarcane. It's very limited to around 60 kilometers from the mill. Thereafter, it just doesn't make sense in terms of transport costs. So a sugar mill has its cane supply surrounding it, and from there it draws sugarcane to the mill.
The season begins in April when farmers deliver their cane to the mills to be crushed into sugar. It's then sold and the income shared between mills and farmers. Each year, Tongaat Hulett buys more than a quarter of the country's 18 million tons of sugarcane, much of it from small-scale farmers. But this year, no one knows if Tongaat's mills will open. The company is 12 billion rand in debt and might be liquidated. That would mean closing its doors after 134 years in business.
Under liquidation, if it's unfunded and the mills close, the doors close, they don't open again, the assets get mothballed while the liquidator fights for who gets the assets, I think that's the worst case scenario for us.
It's a massive blow. If the mills don't start on time this year, it's going to have a huge impact on the rural economy of KZN. You know, we sustain many of the rural towns on the north coast.
For more than a century, Tongaat Hulett has been buying land along KwaZulu-Natal's north coast, from KwaDukuza past Belito and Umhlanga to Durban. Today, it's a corridor of continued multi-million rand development, making it some of the most valuable land in the country. That makes land one of this sugar company's most valuable assets. On communal land, small farmers grow cane on tiny plots, some as small as half a hectare. If Tongaat Hulett shifts its focus from sugar to land development, these farmers could be in serious trouble.
Hey. Hello, how are you?
How are you?
Very well, thank you. Good to meet you.
The land has been protected historically by the monarchy. The land belongs to Ingonyama Trust. That's how it's designated.
The Ingonyama Trust holds close to 3 million hectares of traditional land in KZN. Chancellor of the Zulu Royal House, Nkosi Malusi Zondi, says that land supports over 20,000 small-scale farmers.
We've got reports that some have faced strokes, have faced heart attacks, because they are worried how they are going to live with their families. Already there are no job opportunities in South Africa. Government is trying, but when our people are trying to stand up, we are faced with these challenges.
By now, the mills should be almost ready for the season, but we're told contractors have downed tools, unsure whether they'll be paid.
The mills are actually undergoing maintenance at the moment. So every day that is lost in repairing the mills means that the startup date moves out by 1 day. So there is still a critical bit of work that has to be done in order to get the mills ready for season start.
Time is ticking, but Tongaat Hulett couldn't tell us whether the mills will open or not. Kevil says farmers have been living in uncertainty for the past 7 years. While some have given up, he's hanging on.
I can't see myself doing anything other than cane farming. It's not like you can just switch to an alternate crop. We have very low potential soils for agriculture, so it's not very easy to farm. And then obviously the rolling hills pose quite a challenge. I've got the 6th generation that I'm preparing to take over after me, and I'm unsure whether they'll actually have that opportunity.
We found that there aren't really alternatives. Our farm sizes aren't big enough for maize. Macadamias and avocados are options, but extremely capital intensive. So the real solution for KZN is sugarcane, and what we need to try and focus on is diversification, so alternative revenue streams, not only sugar and molasses.
Another option is for farmers to form cooperatives and build their own mills. This is one example, a brown sugar mill in the Midlands, founded and run by farmers for more than 100 years.
When farmers are part of the milling operation and the value chain, there's that interest to make a success of the operations, and perhaps that is the future.
But building a mill is expensive. Small farmers on communal land simply don't have the resources to do it. Many are barely surviving on the cane they sell now, with some earning as little as 14,000 rand a season. And a visit to Durban's harbour raises even more alarming questions for an industry already under severe pressure.
This is a mountain of unrefined sugar waiting to leave the country. By law, any sugar we can't sell here locally must be exported. So this may look impressive, but it's not the situation we want to find ourselves in.
That's because our sugar is heaping up as imports have dominated the market.
For every ton of sugar that is removed from the local producers by cheap imports, it places the livelihoods at risk.
Kulani Siweya monitors sugar imports and exports for the Sugar Association.
It has undercut our local producers to the tune of about 1.2 billion losses for the sector. And that 163,000 tons is actually a 155% increase on imports that we have seen compared to the very same period in the last season.
It's also worrying to see so much sugar being exported as well. Why is that?
For any sugar producer in the world, you get a better pricing in your local market than you would in the export market. And this is mainly driven because the big producers of sugar across the world, this is Brazil, India, and Thailand, they produce sugar at a cost that is very, very, very below the cost of production. Essentially, once they have met their demand, they send their surplus sugar into the export market. And by flooding that, it does suppress and put pressure on the world prices. So as soon as we then participate in the export market, the sugar prices are really not the kind that will derive us any value for us to realize any profits in this regard.
So for every ton that's imported, we lose around 7,500 rand in revenue, which affects our jobs, our livelihoods. This money is essentially exported to support the Brazilian industry.
So we are saying our government must also look into that so that our people can be able to sell where necessary. Sugar, to me, it's a treasure of our people. It's our mark. It's history which we cannot remove. That we have survived and we have made sure that we grow this and we are proud of it. It's our treasure. We will always protect it.
Faced with mounting pressure, diversification appears to be the only solution. The aim is to transform mills into producing products like ethanol, a biofuel made from cane. It's now a matter of survival for Keval Bodising. The future of this land and its continued legacy now rest with him.
So this is the grave site of my grandfather, Babu Bodising, and his wife.
So it's quite remarkable that the land has stayed within the family.
Exactly. It's a testament to the commitment and endurance of my forefathers and the fact that they managed to hold on to it for such a long time.
Does it weigh heavy on you that Babu's legacy, everything he's built, might end with you?
Yes, it does. All the generations before us managed to hang on to the business and keep it going. And, now we are facing an uncertain future. So it's a sad story and an uncertain time for us. And I would love for this to obviously continue and to make our mark in history.
Nationally, sugar generates 24 billion rand a year.